Let's party.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Boys? Doing well. What's going on, guys?
Happy Thursday.
Yeah, man.
Chuck, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, man. It's been a long time coming.
Certified Inzer.
Finally got a free Thursday to join you guys, so looking forward to it.
Oh yeah. For those of you who don't know, this is
love the flannel.
This is our buddy Charlie Haley. Not to be confused with the other Charlie Haley, who's very popular in the world of football.
You can see the resemblance.
Yeah. We're here to do our NFL picks as we do every Thursday. But before we get into that, we got some NFL trades we really got to talk about that happened this week. I guess the most polarizing of those would be the Davante Adams trade to the New York Jets. The Jets send third-round pick that could become a second if Davante Adams is either a first or second team All-Pro, or if the Jets make it to at least the AFC Championship game, that third-round pick will turn into a second-round pick. How do we think this impacts the Jets? Do we think this solves some problems for them, or do we think this is just kind of like a panic move? Chuck, we'll start with you because you're the guest.
That's kind of funny because the Steelers, everybody thought, maybe he'll go there, but it's always been the Jets. You knew he wanted to go back to Rodgers. We'll find out this weekend. He's going to be on the field Sunday night. So I think it automatically put him and Garrett Wilson together with Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. Their offense should be legit as long as their line holds up. So obviously it automatically, flips the script for them a little bit. I don't think they really necessarily need it because I still think that, the second half of the year, their offense will continue to grow with Rodgers. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. Adding Davante Adams can't hurt you. Let's put it that way.
No, that's what I was going to say. It can't hurt you, but it still doesn't solve their line issues. Rodgers was getting the shit kicked out of him the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think they got Morgan Moses is coming back, but us Ravens fans weren't high and mighty on him either. Like, he was okay, but nothing that's going to change that line drastically. But yeah, adding Davante can't hurt at all. I think I looked at the odds. It took their odds to win like the AFC Championship up by like 100 points or something like that, or 200 points. I forget what it was, but their odds to win the Super Bowl stayed the same, which, yeah, I'm not surprised. But like I said, Davante Adams can't hurt. And for a conditional third-round pick that could become a second, do we know how that becomes a second? Is it based on play or how many games he plays or something?
Yeah, like I said, it's if they make it to the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl, doesn't matter. If they make it to at least the AFC Championship, or if Davante Adams is a first or second team All-Pro.
Okay. So
it's going to be a third-round pick. So that being said, look, if Davante Adams walked onto this podcast right now, I would ask him something very simplistic. How quick did your hamstring heal? And which hamstring was it? He probably looked down at both his legs like, because that's a good. And look, there's no more excuses. There are no more excuses for Rodgers or Davante. And what I see come from this is if they stay stagnant, stay scoring 20 points a game, those two, Davante Adams, obviously we know, just watching the Netflix series, is a little bit of a whiner. There could be a lot of frustration in that locker room. And you're already going to see Mike Williams have frustration because Davante Adams came in.
God, you hate Aaron Rodgers and everyone who ever played for the Packers, don't you?
Well, no. I like everybody that played for the Packers. I love Jordy Nelson, sneaky fast. But that being said,
I really like the white guy.
No, that being said, I hate players who come in and act as the GM, and then when it doesn't work out, they bitch and moan about everything else.
Well,
that's why Michael Jordan notoriously did not want Scottie Pippen. He wanted Jerry Krause to draft somebody else. And then Scottie Pippen came about, and everything was great. Now, that's apples to oranges. I understand basketball to football. But when Aaron Rodgers comes in and wants fucking Randall Cobb, no one would have signed Randall Cobb, not even in the CFL. And all of a sudden, it didn't work out. Everyone bitches and moans. Now, he did tear his Achilles. But, hey, look, Alan Lazard caught a Hail Mary, so he must be a great pick.
Well, I don't think it's that. He's not asking these players. He's asking a couple guys that come in that know the offense a little bit, that can teach the other guys as well. So he's not the only one sitting there trying to teach the off. Because it's just like that sense of security and somebody that he trusts, that he knows is going to run the routes correctly, or he's going to be blocking on certain plays. I mean, one of the big things, like we said, the one excuse if it does come up is going to be the line because he's getting his ass kicked. To be honest with you, and the running game has been dog shit up to this point. And they have one of the best running backs in the league. It started to come around last week a little bit. Maybe they'll start running the ball a little bit more this week as well. So I mean, we'll see. I like I said, it can't be worse. I mean, I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world the way they're playing right now either. But adding
Ben McAdoo was a better offense coordinator than Nathaniel Hackett, and he brought in Aaron Rodgers to bring in a sugar daddy.
Well, he's not even calling plays. He's not even calling plays anymore.
He's not calling plays anymore.
He got demoted. So
look,
I think Big Dom could call plays better than Nathaniel Hackett did.
I echo what Brooks said. I think the biggest problem has been the line. I think Tyron Smith is the biggest reason they lost the game to Buffalo the other night. He looked completely lost. He missed a ton of blocks. He looks old. And guess what? He's a 40-year-old offensive tackle. That's what happens when these guys get old and they're not what they once were. Mike Williams looks old, looks beaten down, looks terrible, can't stay up on his feet.
Can't catch the ball and hits him in the dick.
Can't catch the ball. Look, I think they should have won that game. I think they dominated that game the other night against Buffalo. Do I think Davante Adams helps? I echo what you guys said. Yeah, it helps, but it doesn't solve their problems on offense. The biggest problem is the offensive line. Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't have time to throw, then I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Although if they do give him a little bit more time, now they have Davante and Garrett Wilson. I mean, that's just going to free up Garrett Wilson even more. And that's the only guy he trusts on him and Lazard. I mean, we all know Lazard's not a world beater at wide receiver, but he's like a little safety blanket. His guy is Garrett Wilson, and then it's gonna free him up to do a lot more stuff. He'd be the second best receiver on the Steelers tomorrow.
Yeah, Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong. Did they play the Steelers this weekend?
Yep.
Sunday night, baby.
I'll tell you what, that's a tough defense to start your Jets tenure with.
No, we'll see. I mean, last year with the Raiders and Garoppolo, he lit them up. So I expect more of the same, but we'll see.
Yeah, he's going to need the ball out of his hands like immediately.
Yeah. Let's move on to the team that beat the New York Jets last Monday night. Traded for Amari Cooper. The Buffalo Bills traded for Amari Cooper. The Bills sent a 2025 third-round pick and a 2026 seventh-round pick. They will receive Amari Cooper and a 2025 sixth-round pick. So this is essentially a sixth or a seventh, and then third for Amari Cooper. I think the cap number for Amari Cooper is something like $900,000. I think all of his money is pretty much already gone. I think this last year is super cheap, so the Bills don't have to spend very much money. I think this immediately improves their offense. I love this deal for the Bills. What do you guys think?
I got a question real quick in terms of compensatory picks. Dusty, I'm going to defer to you because I know you know a lot more about this stuff than I do. If you don't know, it's okay. If they cut ties with him because all the guaranteed money is done off his contract, do they get a compensatory pick if someone picks him up?
Who's that?
Amari.
There's no money left on his contract. It's the last year of his deal, and it's like $1 million. That's it.
All right. So then basically what they did is they got a free player because if he leaves and goes to somewhere else, they're going to get a third or fourth round pick in compensatory. And so they basically just traded nothing.
Well, that I don't know. I would assume they get some sort of a pick, but I think it depends on how big of a contract Amari Cooper signs, what kind of pick they would get back. I'm not 100% sure how that works, especially with veterans. But what do you think? What do you think the deal means for the Buffalo offense?
I love it. I love the pick. I love the trade, and I think it really does benefit Josh Allen.
Yeah, I think it was needed. They needed something. He doesn't have anybody but his tight ends to throw to there. I mean, they had Shakir or whatever. And we didn't know who the hell that guy was until this year. So I don't know if he's a rookie or not. But yeah, I mean, it was needed. I thought he was I thought it could be a good pickup for the Commanders as well if they went after him. I think Foy said that he was hoping that they would go after him before the trade deadline. I mean, maybe the Bills just beat him to it. So
yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, right? It can't get any worse than what they have. Amari Cooper, I know he has drop issues, but I mean, at the end of the day, look at his resume. He's going to step in there and be Josh Allen's number one wide receiver right away. for nothing.
I'm glad he didn't go to the Steelers. I'm glad he didn't go to the Steelers. I'm being
Well,
serious.
Well, once again, that's another name that was rumored here. While the Steelers sit still, all the other AFC teams are, making deals to make their rosters better. But the Browns would never trade him in division, so that one was kind of always off the table. Even though it was that was Plan C after they swung and missed on the other two. But we'll probably end up with like Mike Williams in one leg in a couple of weeks.
I think there's been some DeAndre Hopkins, Cortland Sutton rumors going around, so maybe you can get one of those guys. That would be a little bit of an improvement at least.
The latest this morning is
sneaky.
The latest this morning was Adam Thielen, and it's like, come on now, what are we doing? I mean, I don't mind him as like a 3, right?
Yeah,
but they don't have a true 2.
Yeah,
he's got a couple weeks left out from injury, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Did he go on the IR?
He did, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Next thing, I guess we should have talked about this while we were talking about the Jets, but the Jets did come out and say that they're allowing Hassan Reddick to seek a trade. I saw some potential landing spots, some predictions with Aiden Hutchinson out. Do we think the Lions try to make a move for Hassan Reddick? Do we think this kind of thing starts getting resolved with the Jets, or do we think he's gone?
If I'm allowed, I don't believe he should go to any NFL team right now. Right now, it seems like he's a piece of shit. Apparently, like stiffed some guy for $15,000. I can't remember, like some like body shop guy or something. Like he just seems like an absolute piece of trash. And that would not fit with a Dan Campbell led team, because Dan Campbell seems like the most real dude known to man that would eat glass in order to win a football game. Hassan Reddick doesn't seem like he cares.
Anybody else got anything on? Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I think he's a good fit there in terms of like his talent wise and based on the injury. But I mean, it's going to be what Brian said. I think Dan Campbell cares more about culture. Yeah. So, I mean, if he meets with him and he feels like, hey, this guy has been getting screwed. I know he fired his agent and hired the new guy, or the Rosenhaus firm. Because I mean, we don't know the full story. He could his agent could be telling him to do a ton of this shit that's going on right now, and so I don't know. He's also racked up $4 million worth of stuff,
worth of fines.
Worth of fines.
Is this real, Pigtown?
I believe this is real. I've seen this. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Who the hell would put that verbiage in there?
So it was a 3rd-round pick for Reddick, I believe, initially. I believe it turns into a 2nd-round pick if the Jets trade him away to an NFC team. I think the reason they put this in there is because they expected to get a deal done with Reddick, and then when it fell through, obviously now they're in dire straits. I agree with Brian. I think Hassan Reddick has come out as the biggest loser in this season, really. I think he's just going to continue to rack up these fines. I think this is the dumbest holdout since Le'Veon Bell held out with the Steelers that year. And I know Chuck remembers that very well.
I mean, you took the words out of my mouth with Le'Veon Bell. That it's just ridiculous. And in a NFL now that is very culture based, like you want a winning culture. Like you don't want to go to the Carolina Panthers. It's like going to the Washington Wizards. Like you go into purgatory. Yeah. You don't want to. I mean, can you imagine Hassan Reddick going to the Steelers? Mike Tomlin would eat him alive.
Yeah.
No. I mean,
like, keep him out.
He just says no.
No.
I mean, I don't know. He'll end up somewhere. Obviously, it sounds like now it'll probably be the AFC. I mean, Detroit's the logical fit, but based on what that was about the 2nd-round pick, I'm sure they'll find a way to keep him in the AFC and dump him somewhere. Because I don't know how the whole contract works. I know he's got a big number, right? Big cap hit. They just brought in Devontae's 11 or 12 million for the rest of the year. Like, how the hell do the Jets have all this money?
Well, I don't know what his cap hit is if he wants a new contract.
Yeah, if he's holding out, I don't know. He's still got to count against the cap, right? Because he's
still under contract, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what his I don't know what his current contract looks like. So
yeah, I don't know. It's all fake money.
You know, if Jim Harbaugh wasn't the coach of the Chargers, I could definitely see him being a Charger, given that Joey Bosa has so many crazy injury problems. But Jim Harbaugh, once again, same as Mike Tomlin or John Harbaugh or Dan Campbell. They eat him alive.
Yeah, they're also the Chargers are also kind of in cap hell for another year or two because they remember they had to trade Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and cut get rid of Austin Eckler. They had to get rid of most of their offensive weapons this offseason specifically because their cap problems were arising.
Yeah, they re-upped their defense too. All those contracts. They had to figure out who they wanted to pay. But I don't know who else he would really fit in with in the NFC.
AFC.
AFC.
Because NFC,
Brian,
you're giving him a top 62 pick. No way.
Was cap hit only $750,000 this year, but dead cap's like $20.5 million. So I don't understand how all that works. It's all fake money.
Yeah, it just feels like it's just pushed off the next year, no matter what.
It's kick the can and see what the cap does next year.
Yeah. Smaller news, but something we want to talk about. Cam Akers traded to the Vikings. I think Aaron Jones. Yeah, he was there. I think last year, maybe 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yep.
Aaron Jones has been kind of hobbled with the hamstring. I think they expected more out of Ty Chandler coming out of camp. It seemed like they wanted Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler to kind of split carries, but Aaron Jones has really been the clear-cut number one in that offense. So it seems like they're going to give Cam Akers some more run. I think he was pretty successful fantasy-wise down the stretch last year, if I remember correctly. So if you guys have fantasy teams and you need a running back, maybe see if Cam Akers is available. It's not a bad pick.
I thought about it, but I still think I don't know. I mean, I thought about picking him up, but
it depends on if Aaron Jones is healthy, because if he is, then there's no sense.
Yeah.
Do we think Crosby gets traded or no?
Who?
Max Crosby? No. I don't think there's any shot.
No, I don't think so.
Let's do results from last week because Brian is kicking our ass right now. And maybe we should start betting a little bit more because his results right now, you might want to ride the hot hand. Here's where we're at. His totals from last week were Brian was 11-3, I was 8-6, Dustin was 5-9.
You never talk about a heater. I'm not on a heater. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I'll talk about it. You're on a heater. Because 28-16 is ridiculous. So,
I suck.
Yeah, what the hell? I hope you're not betting all your takes.
I'm not. I'm betting on the Ravens every week, which has worked out the last at least couple. But I don't know. I've seen these. I said so many times in the last 2 weeks when we've been doing these picks that this game's a stay away. I don't want to take this game at all, and I think I'm losing all of those games. It must be at least.
Yeah. And pick down. I see your other two picks. We'll talk about those when we get to those games. When we're picking our games, which we're going to get into now, I believe, unless you guys got anything else to go over.
No.
Well, one thing I want to ask Charlie. What do you think about the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh? Like, what do you want to see?
I guess we'll start there then.
All right. I knew this was coming. I don't know. I mean, everybody's been saying, obviously, Justin Fields, if you look at the numbers, the sheer numbers, 10 total touchdowns, only 1 interception, they're throwing stats out there where his, quarterback rating's better than, Mahomes and stuff like that. I'm not buying into it after 6 weeks, right? Like, I like him. Hopefully there's a future there for him, but there's a lot of things that he's missed too in terms of just that offense. There's some open reads. There's just some maturity things that he hasn't had the opportunity to do yet. And he's learning on the fly, but I'm talking myself into wanting Russ to at least see what he's got, just because I think he fits the scheme a little bit better. But at the end of the day, what are we talking about here? Because the Steelers are still not a team that's going to contend for a Super Bowl anytime soon. So it's kind of, everybody's kind of beating this one up a little bit, but it's like he's going to get this week. I think he's going to get next week, and then they have a bye. And from there, they're going to figure out who are we riding with for the back half of the schedule.
Do we think it's a product of the running game not being very productive at this time, that the quarterback is struggling a little bit, or do you just think it's because of maturity issues?
Their line, honestly, has gotten beat up. So there's a combination of that. They're talking a little bit this morning on Sports Talk Radio how, they had some guys coming to break it down. They're like, listen, this offense, right, play action pass is what they want to do. That opens up the run game a little bit. Fields, they talk about Wilson and obviously experience, and these defenses nowadays and their schemes are drawn up. He's more veteran where he can slide protections. He's sliding, bumping tight ends out, doing a lot of the little nuanced things that, elite quarterbacks do. Obviously, he's no longer elite. Justin Fields is he's not there yet, right? Because playing for the Bears, I mean, you're playing for an absolute dumpster fire of an organization. So he never got that experience. Hopefully he grows in this offense, but I think it's, they're hoping that he hits some of these plays down the field as a better passer, open up the run game a little bit more so people just don't stack the box 8, 9 in the box and basically just come after him. Because, I mean, if you've seen the highlights, it's basically Fields running for his life and making plays with his legs. There's not a lot of true standing in the pocket and completing passes downfield. So
how many linemen do you guys have out right now? Like 2 or 3 starters?
Well, they just lost their so their 2 rookies are out. One's out for the year. Their first round pick, and then their second round pick went down last week. Their center, who is an absolute stud. If you like watching linemen play, just watch this kid. If he stays healthy, he's going to be, 10-year veteran. He's going to be multiple Pro Bowls, maybe all pros. He went down last week, which was a big loss, but he's luckily only week to week. Seumalo's back now, but they've lost a few. They lost their starting center to start the year, so that's why the rookie had to slide in, but he was going to be their center all along. So they're down 3. They're down center, their right guard and right tackle this week. So, I mean,
that's hard to win.
And 2 of them, their right guard and right tackle, are both done for the year. Dislocated knee and torn Achilles. So, we'll see. But that's the other thing too with Russ. It's like this kid playing center this week is his first career NFL start. And it's like, hopefully, he can work together a little bit better because the Jets defense is legit. So they're going to get after Russ, and the Steelers are going to get after Rodgers. It's going to be a battle of 2 terrible offensive lines right now. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, at this point, let's see what happens. Like, they brought Russ in initially for a reason. I think all along, Mike Tomlin's pretty stubborn. He brought in the guy he wanted to run this offense, so he wants to see what he has there. I don't think he thought this whole Fields experiment would have worked out the way it did so far. So, find out.
Forced to ride him a little bit. He kind of had to.
Yeah.
I mean, he keeps winning. I mean, you keep winning. It's hard not to. Yeah. I mean, how do you take him out, right? It's like the whole Tom Brady and Bledsoe thing. Like, even though Brady didn't look great and he was managing the game, I mean, he was winning. So
that's what he was being asked to do.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. I mean, Tomlin's offense, he doesn't want to turn the ball over, and he wants the defense to win in like a rock fight. Basically, it's ugly football. That's how he wants to play.
You feel like you're in purgatory right now as a Steelers fan, finishing 1 or 2 games above 500 every year.
As a Pittsburgh sports fan, we're in purgatory across the board.
As
my brother says, it's gonna be a dark 10 to 20 years in Pittsburgh because there's no real hope right now with any of the teams.
Yeah,
we can't even get Chris. Yeah, that'll last 4 years maybe. I'm already printing my Yankees jersey. For all my Jersey friends, we'll print the Yankees skis jerseys a while.
Once Garrett Cole starts progressing,
they're gonna have to go back to the Pirates. Well,
yeah, they're gonna have to go back to their AAA team.
Yeah, that's how they do it. But I don't know. We'll find out. It's gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out on Sunday night. But hopefully, it's a better game. I was there 2 weeks ago and they played Dallas, and that was one of the worst football games I've ever watched. So hopefully, it's a little bit more entertaining than that.
Oh, and can we just touch this real quick? Jerry Jones, shut the fuck up. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Yeah.
Don't threaten radio hosts.
He can do whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants.
I think the mortality of his life and his situation and the Cowboys really hit him. And unfortunately, it hit him on a live radio broadcast. And he starts threatening guys' jobs to get other people to ask him questions when they pay him to be on that damn radio station. Shut up.
They're not paying Jerry Jones to be on the radio station. Get out of here.
Yeah, they are. That's why they paid they paid Belichick. They paid Belichick $1 million.
No, I guarantee you. I bet you Jerry Jones owns that radio station.
Well, I'll give you that. Maybe he does. All right, Belichick, wasn't an owner, but I mean, Jerry Jones, the owner, would fire Jerry Jones, the GM, if he actually had a real true serum in his veins.
I mean, you say that, but I mean, Jerry Jones also is kind of a cheapskate. He's not going to fire Mike McCarthy in the middle of the year. He's going to let the contract play out. He's just not going to pay a guy who's not working. He's just not going to do it. So he's going to let the rest of the year play out with Mike McCarthy, let his contract end, and then find somebody else.
He had 2 comments over the all season. He was all in. Okay, obviously he wasn't. And he said he would write. He said, "You don't know the number of a check I would write to win another championship." Well, I'll tell you what. You could have wrote a $10 million check to Derrick Henry, and you didn't. And Derrick Henry lives in Dallas.
He could have.
So,
he could have been one of these guys that thought he was washed up, like a lot of people thought.
Yeah, and he brought in Zeke Elliott, and he thought he wasn't washed up. Come on, guy.
Yeah, but he for a lot less money.
Yeah.
And he also wrote a huge check to CeeDee Lamb
And Dak
That would suck
Prescott.
because him and Dak hate each other.
I don't think Dak hates him. I think CD hates Dak.
I think
Because he's not getting him the ball.
CD just hates the fucking offense right now because he's like, you know what? As he should.
He should sit back on his pile of money and shut the hell up.
Yeah.
All right, let's pick some games, guys.
Let's pick some games, dude.
Let's pick some games. We've
Let's
been
start
jumping
with-
all kinds of around. Let's just start at the top. We got tonight, we've got the Denver Broncos playing at the New Orleans Saints. This is the Sean Payton Bowl. Derek Carr, Chris Olave, and Rashid Shaheed, a.k.a. 80%, I would say, of the Saints offense is not playing in this game. I don't know how this line's only 2.5. I'm going to start this right away. Give me the Broncos. I think they win this game by a ton. I think Spencer Rattler is a complete joke. I don't think he should be playing NFL quarterback.
Didn't he play decent last week? Like, didn't he have a couple?
He had a quarter and a half stretch where he looked pretty good in the first half, and then it got real ugly at the end.
Then they figured him out.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Give me the Broncos.
Charlie, go ahead.
I'm going Bo next. I mean, it's like I said, Spencer Rattler.
We're picking against the spread too, by the way.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I got you. I mean, the Broncos, I think they win big. So give me them.
Give me the Saints all day, boys. I'll go lone wolf on this one.
Look at
and
you.
I'm taking the ugliest quarterback in the NFL. I am taking Spencer Rattler.
Which we know goes into your decision making.
Without a doubt. And as you can tell, it works. So
right now, it does.
Bo Nix looks like a quarterback on television. He is like Lance Harbor from Varsity Blues. I'm taking Spencer Rattler. I'll take the home team. They have no business winning this game. I'll take the points. Give me the Saints.
All right. Next game. My only note for this game, it just says yuck. In London, we have the two vaunted offenses, defenses, whatever you want to call them. Gerard Mayo versus Doug Peterson, the first coach fired bowl. Patriots versus Jaguars. Jaguars are favored by 5.5. The over-under is 41 now. It was 42.5 when I made this graphic earlier. So obviously some money coming in on the under. What do we think about this game? Chuck, let's start with you.
Jaguars can't be that bad, right? Give me the Jaguars minus 5.5. Stay in that extra week over there, I guess. I don't know. I'm glad to see the Jaguars sucking so far, but they got to have a big performance here soon, right?
Yeah.
So give me the Jaguars minus 5.5.
Chuck took the words out of my mouth. The Jags being over there a week early, I believe, is a very distinct advantage. I will take the Jaguars.
Man, I don't know where I want to go with this. You got a team, like the coach is literally fighting for his job right now. But you also have the rookie quarterback who came in and looked pretty decent last week. So, and I agree with you guys. I think it's a huge advantage them being over here. I'm taking this just to be different. Give me the Patriots to cover. I don't think they win.
Fair enough. You can take them just to be different. I'm taking the Jags. I think Doug Peterson needs to win this game by 20 or 30 points to not get fired on the flight home from London. I think he's pretty much a walking dead man at this point in terms of his coaching career. But I think the Jags will get up for him one last time. I think they'll play well, but I still think he's going to get fired. Give me the Jags to win, and then Doug Peterson to get fired in a hilarity of terribleness for the Jaguars. Chuck, why do you want the Jags to lose? Because Blake Bortles beat you in the playoffs a couple of years ago?
It's the curse of the terrible towel, man. Have you seen that stat? Ever since Joe Dirt stepped on the terrible towel or stole from the fan, they've won maybe 1 game, 2 games. They've been terrible since that. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to see all the AFC teams lose as much as possible. I mean, I know they're both AFC, but so keep as many teams away from those wild card spots as possible.
We just passed it, but I want to go back to the Saints. I meant to get to this.
Whoa! $97 million over the cap.
I mean, look, they've been doing this for 5-6 years in a row. They're over the cap every single year since Sean Payton was coaching there. And for whatever reason, they're able to get in and out of it by cutting guys and moving money around. This is another just example of why the salary cap is fake. That's what we always say.
They're going to have to restructure Carr, really.
They're going to have to restructure Carr. Chase Young's not coming back. Not that he would have anyway. Cam Jordan might be on his way out anyway.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lattimore might be out the door at some point. I think this team is
I would love to get Lattimore. I mean, if we
this team is like a Jenga, like a very weak Jenga tower. I think you pull a couple pieces and they're really going to show you who they are. I don't think they're very good.
Yeah, like you said,
Eric DeCosta wants to kill Mickey Loomis. He wants to kill him because they fucked them during a draft one time about making a phone call. They didn't call the NFL during a trade.
Yeah, I mean, he was asking who we could possibly acquire with knowing what the situation down there. Like I said, give me Lattimore all day because our secondary needs help.
Yeah,
and Humphrey's getting. I mean, has he had a couple clutch plays this year? Yeah, but I mean, and has he looked okay? Yeah, but he's getting older. I mean, and he's injury riddled. So I would love to get Lattimore.
We'll talk about him
Marcus
a lot. When we talk about the Ravens-Bucks game, I want to talk about Humphrey and specifically, but we'll save that until we get to that game.
Yeah.
Lions-Vikings. Lions fresh off of a dominant win over the Cowboys where they lost their dominant defensive end, Aiden Hutchinson, for the year in one of the ugliest injuries I've seen in a while. Definitely don't recommend looking that up. Over-under's 50.5, down from 51 when I made this graphic earlier. Not a huge difference. I would say, yeah, probably one of the games of the week. I think we have a Super Bowl rematch coming up at 4:00, but definitely a really good game. I'm interested most to see how the Lions defense responds after losing Hutchinson, see if it's next man up. They did just pay Aleem McNeil like 4 years, $95 million, who's a stud lineman for them. And the Vikings are 5-0 against the spread and 5-0 overall. Can they stay perfect? They're coming off a bye week. Brian, let's go to you first on your pick for this game.
Lions all day.
Got it.
By a landslide.
He's locking it in, dude. I'm putting it in. Lock.
This is my lock of the week. Lions crush.
Yeah, all right. I love it.
Yeah, I'm going Lions as well. I mean, something's got to give here. I don't love that they're getting Minnesota after a bye week, but yeah, I mean, I also don't see the Vikings going undefeated all year. So I mean, they gotta lose at some point. So why not Detroit?
Chuck?
I mean, living here in Minnesota, I got to ride the wave a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, this ain't Kirk Cousins Vikings anymore. It's Sam Darnold's, and I'm gonna pick them -1.5 until they lose. So until he proves me wrong, I gotta kind of ride the wave so that we got a little excitement up here.
You don't want guys with pitchforks outside your house right now.
That is very true.
Life.
Yeah. That's the main reason. If I picked against them, she might wring my neck. So.
All right.
I've flip-flopped on this game a couple of times. I wanted to take the Vikings to be different, but I went against this Lions team last week and took the Cowboys, and I'm just not going to make that mistake again. I think they're the best team in the NFC. I'm going to take them to win. And we'll see how their defense responds. Like I said, I think that's going to be the most interesting thing in this game. I think this could really be a high-scoring game. Both of these secondaries are pretty vulnerable, I think.
I see a
So-
big game from Jahmyr Gibbs. A lot of balls in the flat. They're going to pass the run, if that makes any sense. I think a lot of balls out the flat to Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think once they start doing that, it's going to open up for St. Brown. So
Also,
I'll take
how
the Lions.
amazing has David Montgomery been there? Like he fits that.
So
He
good.
fits that town really, like to a T.
Oh yeah.
It's the new Thunder and Lightning
Yeah,
to me.
yeah.
That's what I was saying on the podcast earlier this week. I think it's the best running back duo in the last 10 years easily. I don't think it's close. I think they've been excellent, both of them. So we'll move on here to the Bills-Titans game. Titans at Buffalo. The line is 9.5 over under 41. We'll see if Amari Cooper is going to play, if he's going to have much of an impact. I would imagine if he does play, it will be in limited snaps capacity because I don't think he'll be able to learn the whole offense that quickly. I have written down, I think this line's too high. I'm going to just start us off here. I'm taking the Titans. I have no reason. I think Will Levis is terrible. But I just don't think that the Bills should be favored by this many points over anybody. I don't think that they're that good. I think if New York wins that game on Monday like they should have, I think this line is closer to 7. I just think it's too many points. I'm going to take the Titans.
Charlie, go ahead, man.
I just think the Titans are so bad right now. I'm going to take the Bills. I don't know. I mean, that's a huge line, but I can't imagine that the Titans are going to score many points. The Bills defense, I know they're banged up a little bit. They're not the greatest, but I just can't see the Titans moving the ball that much. And Josh Allen's going to have a field day.
That line's as big as Will Levis's veins in his python arms. I will take the Titans in this one.
Yeah. I mean, the Bills' defense is slow, but on the other end, I don't think the Titans have anybody that can outrun anybody on that. I mean, besides D-Hop. I mean, D-Hop's the only one down there that I can even think of that's
Calvin Ridley. He's got money on this game for sure.
Bartolo Colon.
So yeah, give me the Bills, and I hate this pick. But yeah, give me
this game's weird. Okay, we got 2 for the Bills, 2 for
I just don't think
Tennessee.
the Bills blowing anybody out. I don't think they've blown anybody out so far this year, have they? Besides maybe week 1 or 2.
It was who did they play in like week 2? They kicked the shit out of.
I just feel like the rest of the year, and they've kind of always been known to play to their competition a little bit. So
Why does this have a game where Will Levis just goes off for some
I know it does kind of have that written all over it.
The Bills kicked the shit out of the Dolphins, and then the Jaguars in back-to-back weeks, and then the Ravens kicked the shit out of them. So, but yeah, all right, we'll move on from that game. Let's go to this excellent 1:00 game.
What a dumpster fire of a week.
Dolphins at Colts. It looks like Anthony Richardson is going to start this game.
I announced he is.
Tyler Huntley coming off a bye. Maybe they'll have a little bit more offensive juice in this game, but their defense is still bad. I don't know what to take in this game.
Too.
Yeah. I think this is probably the last game before Tua comes back. He's eligible to come back next week. It's scary. If he's not wearing a Guardian cap, I don't know what the NFL is thinking.
He should wear 2 of them.
He should wear 1,000 of them, as far as I'm concerned.
He could be one of them bubbles where you run into each other and then you just bounce off.
Chuck, what do you got on the Dolphins-Colts game? I'm going to put you on the spot first.
I'm going with Indy. Just because I love Indiana and I need to get back and visit soon. Plus, I feel like the Dolphins haven't even played this year because you don't hear anything about them anymore after everything that happened early in the year.
Yeah,
it's like they're not even playing in the NFL anymore. So if Flacco was there, I would have taken the Colts by 1 million. If Flacco was playing, Richardson, I don't know, but I'm going to take the Colts. I think they win by at least a touchdown.
Can you imagine being like Quentin Nelson? And you're going to play this rookie who has no business playing right now. He needs to relax. Like, 1, for health reasons. 2, because he's not ready to be a quarterback. And Quentin Nelson's sitting there like, all right, you got Joe Flacco here just flinging it around. He's got the best passer rating in the NFL. And we're going to start Anthony Richardson. And once again, I always bring it up. He can do backflips. That really helps you in the NFL. So, I'll take the fighting Simone Biles, and I'll take the Colts.
Oh, man. Sometimes you just lead us down one road and then go down another one. It's really interesting.
Without
really
doubt, you never know how we get there, man.
It's his turns.
Left
I'm
turns,
gonna
right turns.
I'm gonna take Miami. I don't believe in Anthony Richardson at this point. I love the guy. I think he's a highlight reel waiting to happen, but he's just too raw at this point. And I don't know. I'm gonna just go against the grain here and take Miami, and I'm probably gonna be pissed about it when we do this next week.
Do we think with them starting AR, and if he doesn't have a great week this week, that locker room is going to start to get pissed? Because, I mean, they just watched Joe Flacco have 3 great weeks in a row, and he's been the best quarterback in the league for his last 6 starts statistically, and he's averaging 310 passing yards a game. Since going back to last year with the Browns in the playoffs and even down the stretch. But that locker room is going to be like, why the fuck are we know that Flacco is a better quarterback. Does AR have better potential and we need to develop him? Yes, but they're probably sitting there like, why am I even playing right now? Like, what are we doing? Like, obviously Flacco's the better quarterback at this point, which is kind of crazy to stay in 2024 that Flacco's still playing right now. Yeah. And I was watching, and to add on that, I was watching McAfee the other day when they were in the box for the Steelers game, and Roethlisberger was in there, and when AR went down and saw Joe coming on the field, and Roethlisberger literally went, "I don't like that. I don't like that," because he was just like he knew, he was like, he's gonna come in and fucking throw all over, like, and nobody knows this. I mean, I say nobody knows the Steelers better than Joe, but he also hasn't played against the Steelers probably in 4 or 5 years, so it's completely different besides maybe 1 or 2 guys.
Well, here's the best part about that. So the reverse, Mike Tomlin in his press conference is like, we game planned all week for Anthony Richardson, then Flacco comes in, took us a while to adjust, and everybody's like, dude, you've been fucking playing Joe Flacco for over a decade. You should know exactly what his tendencies are. You know how to potentially beat him. Like, there's no excuse that Flacco came in and replaced Richardson. So it was it was wild, but it's crazy to see Ben and him hanging out after the game and talking, and the fact that, like you said, Brooks, it's 2024 and we're still talking about Flacco playing at a high level, right?
Very high level.
We're talking about Flacco who looked cooked for Denver in like 2017.
Yeah.
And was mad with the Jets. I mean, he came into a bad situation and then did his best. So I'll give it
but
that.
Brooks, to your point, I mean, see my Quentin Nelson point. Like, if you're a veteran, you're like, we got a guy playing lights out. You're going to bring in a guy who's going to basically regress us. That's bullshit. Like, I'd be like, fuck you, dude.
You have to be there sitting. You have to sit there and be like, "What the fuck are we doing? Like, are we intentionally losing games right now? Like, we know that we can win games with Joe right now."
Yeah,
and like that's we talked about it Monday. Like, it's like, how is there not, like, the Carolina Panthers or or the Raiders? How is a team not bringing Joe in for like 1-year contract, 2-year contract to be like, all right, at least we can win a couple games. I mean, I get maybe they're trying to get a high draft pick, whatever. Like, at least we know this guy can still sling it and can win us a few games. He's better than Gardner Minshew. I mean,
look at the team they're playing this week. Do you think they wouldn't want Joe Flacco right now?
I guarantee you they called about him too, and the Colts are probably like, yeah, we're not trading him right now.
Yeah, we're not trading him. He's on no contract, and he's the best quarterback on the team. Brooks, do you have a pick?
Yeah, Indy.
Okay. Brooks,
like, how is Tua, like, do we think Tua means this much to the Dolphins?
Yes.
Like, how have they gone?
It's just a competent quarterback versus a non-competent quarterback. I don't think Tua is that good. I don't know. We spent way too much time on Colts Dolphins. Can we move on, please?
Oh, no, it's more on Joe Flacco.
That's true. Next game is another very, very good game. I'd say another game of the week candidate in most weeks in the NFL. Houston Texans at the Green Bay Packers. CJ Stroud's first trip to Lambeau Field, if I'm not mistaken. I don't believe he made the trip there last year. I have just written down this is a premier quarterback matchup based on how they played last week. Jordan Love throwing 4 touchdowns, spreading the ball around to all those weapons he has. CJ Stroud playing like one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL in year 2 here, making a step forward off of his incredible rookie year. Give me the Texans plus the 3 in Green Bay. I think they're just a little bit better than Green Bay at this point. I don't think Green Bay's defense is going to be able to stop Joe Mixon and the running game of the Texans.
Charlie, go ahead, man.
I mean, I think the Texans are one of the best 4 or 5 teams in the NFL. So give me the Texans plus 3. I mean, I can't even. I mean, this is basically a pick 'em because Packers are getting the 3 points for being at home. But I mean, how can you not take the Texans to cover? I would take them money line. I would take them -7. I don't know. I mean, the Texans are just one of the better teams in the NFL.
The Texans have a better defense. That's why I'm taking the Texans.
Yeah, I'm with Chuck too. Like I don't know who's going to win this game. I think this should be a pick 'em, to be honest with you. I mean, well, I guess you said, yeah. So, give me the Pack. I've picked against them too many times and lost this year. So,
fair enough.
I love the Texans. I love the Texans D. I love Will Anderson coming off the edge.
Yeah.
I really do. I love the guys coming up the middle, and I can't even name them off the top of my head right now, and that's a shame because they've been doing a great job all year. I'll take the defense in this game. I will take the under in this game as well. Not that I'm betting on that, but I do like the Texans.
If you were paying attention last week, I told you guys go get Tank Dell, go pick up Tank Dell, play him in daily fantasy, play him to score a touchdown. And guess what? He scored the first touchdown of the game last week. So if you guys are still hip to that, or if you guys are still paying attention, Nico Collins is going to be out for 3 more weeks. So if you have any opportunities to get Tank Dell in one of your fantasy leagues, go for that because he's going to be a stud.
Well, I mean, Tank Dell should not be available in most fantasy leagues.
Well, you could trade for him.
True. Yeah.
Anyway, next game, Bengals at Browns. This game has flipped between 6 and 5.5 multiple times this morning. The over-under is 41.5. The Browns are now going to be without Amari Cooper. I have written down this is a stay away. It's a classic divisional matchup. No idea who's going to win this game. I think that the Bengals are clearly the better team. I think the public is mostly going to be on Cincinnati. And I'm not going to bet on the Browns at all for the rest of the year because I think they're a dumpster fire unless they start playing Jameis Winston. I will not be betting on them. So I'm just going to take Cincy right off the top, and then you guys can go ahead. Brooks, you go first.
Give me Cincy. Browns stink.
There you
That's
go.
all I got.
Perfect. Chuck?
Cincy. I mean, until something changes there in Cleveland, they're the same old Browns.
Same old Browns.
Brian, you going to make a team play?
Team ride.
I cannot take a man who has 66 massage therapists. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals. Sorry.
He's making it a team
You
play.
should pull up. What's the best site to see public money, Dustin?
I don't know. At this point in the week, it's going to be completely skewed.
Yeah,
you can click on the games individually and it'll tell you, but via DraftKings.
See what public money's on. Open. No, not that. We should start taking into account public money. Well, I would like to start.
If you hit back, it should be
Back where?
I don't know. Usually, if you click on the game, it'll give you an expanded thing. I do it on my phone most of the time, though. So you're clicking on Same Game Parlay. That's not going to help you. Anyway, I don't know where the public money is going. I know the public money is going to be heavily on the Bengals in this game, so that means you should probably either take the Browns or stay away if you don't want to bet it.
The Browns are an absolute dumpster fire. Like they are probably the worst team. Like they're in purgatory. And I know we talked about the Steelers being in purgatory because they're always drafting like 15th overall because they're 9-8. But the Browns are terrible. They should trade Myles Garrett. Just acquire picks.
Yeah, and I mean, well, they just trade Amari. They still got Jerry Jeudy over there, which could be traded as well.
I forgot he
Denzel
existed
Ward.
until you just said his name.
Denzel Ward should be traded.
Nick Chubb is coming back here in the next couple of weeks, but he came out.
He's coming back this week.
This week, yeah, that's right, because I just ended up starting him. he came out and had a big post about how like the Browns have always had his back and stuff like that and gave him guaranteed money when they didn't have to and everything like that, which was cool. Which is cool of him to come out and back his team as he should. But I mean, he didn't have to say all the stuff he said.
I know this sounds shitty, but the Browns got exactly what they deserved when they made that contract with Deshaun Watson. Like the Houston Texans,
61%.
the Houston Texans should have been like trying to like give away part of their stadium rights in order to get rid of Deshaun Watson. And the Browns came in with 3 first and then $230 million guaranteed. Like, what the hell are you doing? Yeah. Nick Caserio from the Texas had to be like laying like naked in his bed, just being so happy with his life.
Well, how happy do you think Atlanta is right now that they didn't end up winning that bidding war?
That sweepstakes, yeah.
Yeah, oh, without a doubt. I mean, he had a guy who was doing dogfighting, and then all of a sudden you're going to have a guy who's got massage therapist at the wazoo. He's coming out of like this
well, they knew that at the time. I mean, they were still going after him. But yeah, 61% is on the Bengals right now, and the game that we're about to pick looks like has the no, they don't. The Lions have the most public money, 86% on them right now.
Yeah, that's scary. That's scary.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, next game is Eagles at Giants. The Giants are +3 at home. The over-under is 42.5. I'll let you guys go first. I'll save my thoughts for last. I will say off top, though, that the G-men have lost their star offensive tackle, Andrew Thomas, for the season due to a Liz Frank injury. That's a huge miss for them. That's their franchise left tackle. So that's going to suck.
I do think Neighbors is coming back this week. He's practicing this week, so he's obviously cleared if he's practicing.
Charlie, go ahead, man. Make a pick, buddy.
I don't think that injury really affects anything. I mean, the Giants aren't going anywhere. The Eagles, I don't think the Eagles are that impressive this year. As long as Nick Sirianni sticks to the sidelines, I think the Eagles will cover the -3, and hopefully he doesn't bring his kid into the interview again to shield him from all the criticism for being a scumbag. So not a big Sirianni fan. As you can tell,
most punchable face in sports.
Yeah, that guy's.
Well, now he shaved his head, so he looks even more punchable.
I hate that guy so much.
So I hate him, but I love the Eagles in this one, giving them -3.
When your best coach is Big Dom and he doesn't coach, I'll take the Giants and the Bills.
Give me Ed. Yeah, give me the Eagles. I don't see a world where they don't beat the Giants by 3. That being said, there is 83% public money on the Eagles.
Look, my thoughts on this are that the Giants the last 2 weeks have been kind of frisky because their defense has been good. Dexter Lawrence has been really good up the middle. Brian Burns is there now. He's been steady on defense for them. It sucks losing Andrew Thomas, but getting Malik Neighbors back is going to make them frisky. The Eagles look like they didn't even want to beat Cleveland last week, who's one of the worst teams in the league. I think the Eagles are trending downward. I think the Giants are trending upward. I'll take the Giants, and I think they're going to win the game.
Somehow, in one weird world, there's more team dissension with the Philadelphia Eagles than there is in the New York Giants. And that is stunning.
I mean, I don't think there's a ton of team dissension with the Giants in general.
It's just the quarterback sucks.
It's just the quarterback is not. Yeah. They paid the quarterback way too much money. That's really what it all comes down to.
And they're going to eat. They
let Saquon walk for the same amount of money that.
Well, that's the other thing. Saquon's going back to MetLife for the first time.
Yeah, the Saquon
revenge game. I think he runs wild. I think he scores like three touchdowns.
I didn't even think about that. That's a great call. Great call.
Not changing my pick, but I do like that. I think Saquon, if you're a Saquon anytime touchdown, if you got that on the parlay this week, I think that might be a good idea. Yeah. Okay. Next game is the first of the 4:00 games. Or no. We got to go. We still got to do Seattle and Atlanta. Seattle at Atlanta, the last of the 1 o'clocks, the last of the Mohicans. Seattle is +3 on the road in Atlanta. The over-under is 51, so expecting a lot of scoring in this game with Geno and Kirk Cousins slinging it. Brian, let's start with you on this one.
Sure. Go with the methodology. I'll take the home team and the better quarterback. I will take the Atlanta Falcons to cover.
Okay. Chuck?
I like Brian's methodology. I think the Falcons, one of the top teams in the NFC, have said it since week one, even when they laid an egg against the Steelers. I think at home, Kirk throwing it around, I'll take them -3.
Yeah. Yeah. No, give me Seattle. Give me Seattle. Bounce back game. They got their defense got torched last week. So hopefully they got a bounce back game in that defense who's played decently this year, I feel like.
Yeah,
I'm surprised to see it's a pick'em game. That three number is a pick'em game basically.
I know, yeah.
The Seahawks won their first 3 games of the year. They've lost 3 in a row now. They could have easily beaten
1% Seahawks, by the way.
Wow. They could have easily beaten San Francisco last Thursday night. I believe it was last Thursday night. Yeah, I think their defense is scary, but Geno's been slinging it. I don't think Atlanta's offense is as good as they've been performing the last couple of weeks. I know you guys are a little higher on them than I am, but they have to prove it to me over the course of more than just 6 weeks, or really more than just the last couple. So I'm going to take Seattle here. I think they have a bounce back. I don't think they lose 4 straight. Okay. First 4:00 game is the Panthers at the Washington Commanders. This line is 8. This is the highest over-under of the week at 51.5. I have written down, I think this is a little bit of a trap game for DC, kind of sandwiched in between big games for them. They played the Ravens last week, which was their first real big test of the year. And next week, they kind of have a look ahead playing against the Bears with that Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels rookie matchup. A couple of hot games surrounded by this Panthers game. I think 8 is a little high because I don't think this Commanders defense is very good, but I'm not betting on Andy Dalton. I'll take Washington -8, even though I don't love it. Brian, let's go to you. What do you think?
I agree with you on a trap game. I actually am going to take the Fighting Redheads. I will take the Carolina Panthers in this one. I just have a weird feeling that this one is going to be Panthers. The Commanders obviously played a really good game against the Ravens. And even though they lost, I felt like that was a moral victory. I know there are no moral victories in the NFL, but it felt like a moral victory. And then you are right with their Bears, the Bears matchup coming up next week with Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels. I will take the Panthers in this because I think they're going to overlook the Panthers.
How's Carolina's defense? Have they been okay? Are they getting torched? Are they worse than the Commanders?
They're like middle of the road, I think.
Okay.
I want to say like high teens, maybe like low 20s, but they're not like 30.
They can't be that good. They've given up their lowest point total they've given up was 26. They've given up 47, 36, 34, 36.
Yeah,
38.
but I mean they got to be on the
maybe
field.
I'm completely wrong.
Yeah, but they got to be on. They have to be on the field the entire
time. Yeah, I mean,
so it's just going to happen if they can somewhat curb anything that the Commanders do. I think they cover the 8. And Chuba Hubbard actually looks fucking phenomenal this year. He's going to get.
I'm an asshat. I'm a complete asshat. They are 31st in the NFL.
Are you serious?
Is Jonathan Brooks coming back this week?
I don't know.
He's coming back soon.
I
mean, it's not. I mean, unless he can play offense, defense, and special teams, I don't think it really matters. The Commanders are going to kick the shit out of them. I can see them losing 42-6.
Yeah, the only thing I can really hang my hat on here is like them just feeding Chuba. Who's Gary Williams? Didn't steal anyone's lawn furniture. Touche, sir. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, give me the Panthers to cover. I don't love it, but I'm hoping they can backdoor cover this somehow, or at least keep it within range.
We've got 2 on each side in the Ron Rivera, Josh Norman Bowl. I also want to point out that Washington lost star defensive lineman Jonathan Allen for the season. He tore his pec, so he is gone for the year. That is bad news for them, who are already pretty thin on the defensive line after trading Sweat and Young at the end of last year. Going to be tough for them. to play defense for the rest of the year. But always rooting for our guys, and also Jaden Daniels is a stud. So love watching it.
81% Commanders for anybody who wants to change.
Scary.
Dusty, is Gary Williams the guy you went to high school with? Like the guy who just sent us a message?
No, I don't know who this is. It's just Gary with 2 R's.
We got to talk about his shirt. Think about the shirt he didn't wear in that photo.
Guy loves bowling. Guy loves bowling.
He's a big bowler. He's Kyle Bowler.
Speaking of, can we get Jack Krabby on here to tell us if Gary Williams did in fact get his hat?
Yeah, I mean, I can get Jack on, no problem.
Yeah,
Charlie, just so you know, I got a buddy named Jack Jack Krabby, hard name to forget. He used to work for Maryland in the marketing department, and he was going to the game, and Gary Williams, Scott Van Pelt were going to be in the luxury box near him, and he was going to we never got a picture, which we
were told he got it, but we
were told that Gary Williams has a hat.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So we need to have him on to verify.
Yeah. Next 4:00 game is Raiders-Rams. Raiders are going to LA. Not a far trip from Vegas. 6.5 is the line. 43.5 is the over/under. It looks like Cooper Kupp is either coming back this week or next week. He's been practicing in a limited capacity. It could be this week, but we're still questionable on all of the websites and everything I've read. My question is, should the Rams be almost a touchdown favorite over anyone in the league at this point?
Especially the Raiders, I would think they would be. 70% money on the Rams. I know I keep bringing up the public money. It's not really going to matter until Saturday evening or Sunday morning, or maybe even later on Friday. But it's still worth noting. But I mean, that being said, I'm taking the Rams. I just think they're going to put up too many points.
I'll take the Rams.
Okay, yeah, Brian's going to take the Rams. I'll go next.
Easy with the Rams.
Yeah, I love Matthew Stafford. I think he's a Hall of Famer, but I think the Rams are just completely in shambles injury-wise. And I think this line's too high, and I don't understand why all the public is on the Rams. They haven't been good this year. I'm going with the Raiders.
I'll go Rams. Simple fact that I watched the Raiders play last week, and they can't move the ball. So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, Rams might not put up a lot of points, but I don't think the Raiders are putting up many points either. So they've come a long way since they beat the Ravens and played opposite direction. I mean, but is Aiden O'Connell still playing quarterback, or is Minshew coming back this week?
Based on how Aiden O'Connell played last week, I think it should be Minshew again. But
if Minshew plays in the
Ravens,
I don't know. Give me the Rams.
Is Garoppolo still there?
No.
He's the backup on. God, where is he now?
Oh, I thought he was still there and had the 4-game suspension.
He's the backup for the Rams. He's the backup for Matthew Stafford.
So Stafford's going to get hurt. Garoppolo's going to come in, throw for 3 touchdowns, and that's how the game's going to end.
Or Stafford's going to get traded to the Dolphins. Wow.
If they were going to do that, they should have done that 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to wait to see what Tua looks like probably when he gets
back.
The
reason there are 7 1:00 games and only 3 4:00 games is because this game exists, and Fox exists, and I'm sure they're going to keep everyone on this one. Chiefs at 49ers, a rematch of the Super Bowl. These teams have played in the Super Bowl twice, I believe, in the last 5 years. Mahomes, as an underdog, is 10-3 straight up and 11-1-1 against the spread in his career. He's only been an underdog 13 times. Jordan Mason, who's been filling in for McCaffrey quite well, I would say, sprained his AC joint, missed most of the game last week. He's questionable. He's been practicing in a limited capacity all week. If he doesn't play, it's going to be a lot of Kyle Juszczyk and Debo, I would imagine, in the backfield, along with Garendo, or I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name.
Yeah, he had a couple good runs last week too.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. But the story really is Mahomes is an underdog, and I'm not going to be betting against that. 10-3 straight up, 11-1-1 against the spread. I'll take those numbers any day. Give me the Chiefs, and I think they win this game convincingly.
Did I miss a pick by any chance? I was talking to Kirsten. I'm sorry.
Nope, you're good.
Oh, you're good.
All right, cool. You guys keep going.
Chuck?
I'll go Chiefs. I mean, some seems a little off of the Niners right now. I don't know. They'll be there at the end of the year, but they're not the same Niners that were even in the Super Bowl last year. Mahomes is an underdog. I'm going with the Chiefs. As much as I hate to say it, I think the Chiefs got this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm torn on this one too.
Ryan, you go while Brooks is thinking.
No problem. I'm going to actually go against the grain. I'm going to go the Niners. I'm going against the grain on my own methodology because Mahomes is a better quarterback, but I have a weird feeling the home team, the Niners. That's kind of a weird feeling. The Chiefs are going to have a dud game sooner or later, somewhere along the line, and I think this might be it.
81% public money on the Chiefs, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And, oh man, give me the Niners at home. If this were at Arrowhead, then I'd take the Chiefs, and I still believe the Chiefs will probably figure out a way to win this game, probably by 3. Is what's going to end up happening. But I don't know. Give me San Francisco.
So many games in this slate stink to all hell, and I don't like it one bit. I got a feeling Vegas took a bath last week. I got a feeling they're gonna come back with a vengeance this week, and all of these favorites and all of these teams that everyone's betting on are gonna get punched in the mouth for some
They've
reason.
they've actually had a rough year.
Vegas, yeah,
they've had a couple good weekends for them, but all in all, they've had a rough year.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to Sunday Night Football. We've got Jets at Steelers. Could be a Russell Wilson game. Could be Devontae Adams' first game for the Jets. We think it probably will be. Chuck, we'll let you go first and just give us your thoughts on this game as a whole because you are a resident Steeler fan on the pod today.
After sitting there 2 Sundays ago, watching Dak Prescott lead that drive, I just know it's coming from Aaron Rodgers late in the game because the defense has had a couple times where they just can't close it out. But that being said, typical Steelers primetime. They got 2 primetime games in a row. They got the Jets this week, and they got Monday night against the Giants before the bye. I don't know. I think the Steelers always get up for games like this. They love the primetime. They're like the Ravens, right? They love the primetime. They got the gray face mask, the block lettering this week. They're honoring the 74 Super Bowl team, so 50-year anniversary of that. Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell are going to be at the game for the first time back in Pittsburgh, having tailgates and stuff. So everything screams that the Jets are going to rip my heart out, but I don't know. I think this is a game where the Steelers show up somehow, some way, and find a way to win. So, I mean, obviously I'm going to take them plus 2.5, but I think they win this game.
Closest odds of the week in this game in terms of public money, it's 49-51, Steelers 51%.
Wow.
Kind of sad I can't go to the Antonio Brown tailgate. He's hosting a massive tailgate with Le'Veon Bell. I missed him by 2 weeks, but that'll be a show for sure. It's going to be entertainment, to say the least, with everybody you got in this game, all the polarizing figures, and then on top of it, just Sunday Night Football between these 2 franchises.
Who's got your tickets this week?
I don't know who we sold them to. I know Amanda met.
Your family doesn't have them this week. I was wondering if you're
not this week. No, we sold them. Amanda actually gave 2 to these veterans she met a couple months ago. She met them on a work trip, and they're big Jets fans from New York, and they wanted to go to this game. So we bought them 2 of our tickets and just gave them to them so they could go out for it. But
sweet.
Yeah, I don't know who has them this week, but hopefully they see a Steelers victory.
Good karma. Good karma. Give me the Steelers.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Brooks is taking the Steelers. I'm going to go next. I have a couple things to say about this game. I think this game's going to suck. I don't want to see either of these teams play on Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night football anymore. I've seen enough of them already this year. It's not going to be a fun game to watch. That being said, give me the Jets. I think the Steelers' offense is going to start becoming a dumpster fire here pretty quickly with all those offensive linemen missing.
Sauce Gardner is going to completely blanket George Pickens. Pat Freiermuth will be the best offensive weapon for the Steelers, and you'll need to throw it to him within 1.8 seconds. I firmly believe that now that Antonio Brown, I know, is there, he will find a way to absolutely make the Steelers play its hell. I will absolutely take the New York Jets in this game.
Oh man, I think that's 3 games in a row we're split on. Yeah.
What's the
This is my method. My methodology seems to work, and I know it makes no sense.
It's worked this year, that's for sure.
It's definitely working, dude. You're hitting at an elite rate.
Chuck, what's the Steelers secondary look like besides Minka?
So, I mean, they have your boy from Baltimore, Deshaun Elliott. They picked him up this year.
From Texas.
Under the radar signing that he's actually probably been their second best defensive player so far. I mean, he complements Minka well. He's made a ton of big plays even last week in the Raiders game. He does a lot of the little things right. And then you got Joey Porter Jr. on one side, and then they got Dante Jackson in the Deontay Johnson trade. He's got 3 picks already. So they have playmakers at every level. They're getting Highsmith back this weekend. His groin's finally healthy, so they don't have to start some guy from. They have a substitute teacher that they were starting a couple weeks ago, and Herbig being out hurts because I don't know if you guys have a chance to watch him play, but he's scary coming off the edge. He's another mini Watt. I don't know if you guys have you watched him yet?
I have. He sounds like a Steeler. That last name sounds like he makes steel, like literally.
Yeah.
So he grew up in a cave.
They got another one coming with him, so we'll see. But they got playmakers on all levels.
Speaking of former Ravens, what as a Steelers fan, what do you guys think of PQ so far?
So far, everybody's not out on him, but he hasn't lived up to what they thought. He gets to the ball. The problem is he's missed a lot of tackles in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Last week he actually played really well.
That's his MO.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna, I hope, right, based on the fact that they kind of invested a lot in him to be their captain in the middle of the defense for three years. He'll get to the ball. He just hasn't made the splash plays yet. I mean, in the Dallas game, he dropped a pick that could have been huge. Him and Minka right now. Minka, I love him, love the guy, but he hasn't made any splash plays in over a year. So maybe we get a Minka pick 6 this weekend or something. But I like Queen. I mean, I'll give him, a little bit more time, but so far the return is not that great. But
yeah, one of the reasons why the Ravens went out and got Roquan was because he was getting run over by the Steelers up the middle.
Yeah.
And just it was almost like he wasn't big enough to make the tackles or just couldn't play it like up in between the line. And they went and got Roquan and let him start doing a lot more coverage stuff, which he excelled at. He looked great last year when that was when that was going on. But before that, Dustin was like, this is the biggest fucking draft bust that we've ever had. Like he was hammering.
Yeah, Matt Elam or Sergio.
Oh,
Kindle.
fair. But Dustin,
Sergio Kindle, you can't.
Dustin was beating the drum like Patrick Queen fucking sucks. And like, I remember him saying that, and I was like, really? I mean, already? Do we think that? And he was like, yes. Watch. Yeah. You guys just watch.
That's you never really see a player go from the Ravens to the Steelers. I mean, we had Mike Wallace, right? And
we also had Villanueva.
Yeah, Alejandro Villanueva, the only guy I ever thought was going to actually kill me, like in person. Very fun story.
All right. Let's move on to the
blind
sorry.
And he was dipping.
Brian's cutting in and out for me. I can't hear him.
Yeah.
No, he's frozen now for me.
Yeah. All right, Brian, shut up. You're frozen.
Shit.
This is like this is like around the horn when you get muted and frozen. This is what's happening.
Yeah. No shit. No, but in that draft, we didn't want Patrick Queen. We actually wanted Kenneth Murray, who ended up going to the Chargers to pick.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, you brought it up. You got to tell us the Villanueva story.
Oh yeah, sure. So after the Ravens lost to the Steelers, final game of the season, to not make the playoffs, this is about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. But no, 3 years ago. A bunch of Ravens came in, like Malik Harrison and Mark Andrews, Alejandro Villanueva, a bunch of those guys. They're all in there, Justice Hill, and they're all getting hammered. Rightfully so. Their season is over. They have nothing to play for moving forward.
Who's getting a call?
Not me.
Sorry.
You're good.
So I'm down at Pig and Rooster, and I walk back up to Chaucer, and there's a guy sitting in the corner chair of the bar when I walk in the front door of Chaucer. He's wearing a neon Hawaiian shirt. And Storytime Brown, my new favorite segment. I love it, Joe. And he's leaning over, dipping directly on the floor. Now, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. All I can see is the top of his head. And he stands up. I go, dude, get the fuck up and stop spitting on the floor. I'll get you a cup. And he stands up, and I'm like, oh, dear. I'm in trouble. This is a former Army Ranger who can punch me through the brick wall that's directly behind me. He goes, I'm really fucked up, man. My bad. I'm so sorry. I'm like,
You could have died, dude.
without doubt. I mean, the man has frozen turkeys on the ends of his goddamn arms. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, that he does. I mean, I don't think. Yeah, he was an Army. Was he a Green Beret? I don't. No,
Maybe
he was
Green
just
Beret, but he was definitely.
an Army Ranger.
He
Yeah.
was definitely an Army Ranger. All right. Moving on. Ravens at Bucks. Last time the Ravens played at the Buccaneers, I went and I got bed bugs from a Quality Inn in Tampa. Fuck you. Don't stay there.
Jesus.
I also met Hulk Hogan in Clearwater. It was a weird trip.
There you go, Joe. There's story time with Dusty. Story time with Dusty right there, baby.
Hogan's Hangout.
Yeah, Hogan's Hangout, man. It was some sort of like stone crab festival they do in Clearwater every year, and I walked into Hogan's Hangout to watch the Houston versus the Phillies in the World Series. I think it was game 1 or 2. I think Schwarber went yard to start the game, and in walks Hulk Hogan, and the whole bar just went silent. It was crazy. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. Ravens at Bucks. The Ravens are favored by 3.5. 49.5 is the over/under. I have the clear matchup down as the Ravens rushing attack versus Vita Vea. Big Vita Vea up the middle, the D tackle for the Tampa Bay Bucks has been great. The entirety of his career, really, especially at stopping the run. And also, how will the Ravens stop Bucks' explosive wide receiver tandem? I'm talking specifically in this game about Chris Godwin versus Marlon Humphrey. Chris Godwin has been fantastic this year in the slot. I think he's going to be matched up a lot with Marlon Humphrey in the slot, and I think Godwin at this point in his career is going to get the better of that matchup more times than not. So I'm a little bit scared about that matchup. That being said, I will take the Ravens. I think we're a better team. I think we're going to be able to do whatever we want on offense. Against a secondary that's struggled a little bit at times, and I think Baker's a little too turnover heavy and a little too trigger happy sometimes, and I think we could get one on him. Chuck, let's go to you first, then Brian, then Brooks.
Everything says Ravens. I mean, they're basically almost a touchdown favorite here. On the road, getting 3.5. So yeah. I don't know. I mean, this is just going to be a wild Monday night game. For some reason, I feel like Tampa's going to somehow, make it close late and cover it. But give me the Bucks 3.5. I don't know why. I think the Ravens will win the game, but I think the Bucks might, maybe Tucker hits a late field goal, win by 3. Who knows? But I don't know. I haven't seen enough of the Bucks to really know other than they're solid. And I don't know. It'll be the first game back from the hurricane. Maybe they get a little bump there. Who knows? Weird vibes. Ravens win. Bucks cover.
Yeah, I got weird vibes
good,
on this one.
Good analysis there, Chuck. I really believe you on that one. And any team that has 2 really good wide scares the shit out of me with the Ravens. I'm going to take the Bucks, and I'm going to take the Bucks to win outright.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Brooks?
I was going to as well, because it kind of feels like a letdown game, to be honest with you. I mean, I say a letdown game. I agree with Dustin. I think the Ravens are a better team. But is our secondary going to be able to hang with both those dudes? Obviously, the rushing attack is going to be non-existent. Are we going to be able to run the ball against them? Because, I mean, we do still have a little bit of trouble running up the middle at times. That's why we're kind of getting wide with a lot of stuff. So give me the Ravens. Fuck. Give me the Ravens. I don't have a good feeling about this game.
Hey, it's fair enough. I mean, they're definitely a good team. They're frisky. They're scary. They can definitely throw on any defense in the league, and certainly against us, they will be able to. So,
I feel like our best player needs to be Kyle Hamilton in this game.
yeah, and Lamar. I mean, if Lamar keeps playing the way he is, it's going to be tough to beat us anybody. But I mean, we just got to avoid those stupid turnovers. I mean, Baker gets a lot of credit. They put up 51 last week, but he also threw 3 picks in the middle of that game. He's not quite doing Jameis Winston stuff, throwing that many interceptions, but he's definitely slinging the ball around with reckless abandon at certain points. So
Who do we got
hopefully
next
we
week?
catch him.
The
The Ravens actually have
Ravens
a
got
nice
the Browns next
have a
week.
nice
Browns.
part of our schedule in comparison to the first 6 games. It gets a
Yeah.
little easier at least,
Yeah.
but the divisional games are going to be tough. So.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we have a second Monday night game. Again, this one's at 9 p.m. East Coast time. Chargers at Cardinals. This is the final game of the week. The Chargers are giving up 2.5 on the road in Arizona. This game's got weird written all over it. These two teams are both weird as shit. I can see either of these teams getting blown out. I can see this being close. I can see any type of game happening here. What I know is going to happen is J.K. Dobbins is going to run the shit out of the ball. They've been giving him the majority of the carries, especially now that Gus Edwards is out. I believe he's on the IR for a little while. Arizona has given up the 3rd most rushing yards in the league. They've also given up the 10th most rushing yards per carry on average in the league. So I think J.K. Dobbins is going to get the ball 25 or 30 times, and I think they're going to run the shit out of the ball, and I'll take the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, I got to ride with you too. Give me the Chargers as well. I think they'll take the air out of the ball. And I don't know. I think I've taken Arizona the last 2 weeks and it's bitten me in the ass.
Yeah.
I know at least last week. I can't remember the week before, but yeah, give me the Chargers and the fighting hardballs.
I'm on board with that. I think Chargers defense is legit, right? They're holding teams to not many points. I think, you ground Arizona a little bit and the Chargers do enough to win. I think in our family pick 'em, I picked the Chargers to win like 27 to 17, something like that. So give me the Chargers minus 2.5.
Brian, last game, Chargers, Chargers Cardinals.
I'm going to take Chargers. Once again, I never really trust Kyler Murray. So, I mean, even though he's had a couple good games, I'm still going to take the Chargers in this one. And I like their coach better than I like Arizona's coach in regards to, schematics and just team culture. I will take the Chargers.
You like Greg Roman schematics?
No, I like Jim Harbaugh.
Okay.
Yeah, we know Greg Roman wants to do one thing, and that's run the ball and never throw. Me and Brooks always used to have a joke when we had Jamal Lewis on the team. I was just like, well, I don't know why we just don't run the ball every single down. We can't throw the ball at all. And we just look at each other and be like, run the ball. Run the ball. I don't care if it's 4th and 18, run the ball. I think that's what the Chargers are kind of doing these days. So
fucking bowler to fucking Travis Taylor. So
yeah, it was ugly. It was Travis Taylor and Mark Clayton and Todd Heap. By the way, speaking of Todd Heap, did you see that Mark Andrews tied Todd Heap's franchise record for receiving touchdowns? He's got 41.
Yeah, one more.
Took him 6 weeks to get his first one this year, but he's certainly going to break that record at some point this season.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think Mark Andrews has an explosive year next year when we get an line that's actually stout. Because right now, as we've talked about before, he has to do a lot of chipping, stay in because our offensive line is a little shaky on the corners.
Yeah.
So, Ronnie Stanley's been great on the left side, but the right side's a little shaky.
Yeah.
Overall thoughts on this slate is that it's fishy. I think Vegas is going to get something back this week on us. So I'd be very hesitant with your money this week, especially on the games that look like locks. If you got like a money line parlay sitting on the Bills on Sunday morning and the Titans get out to a 14-0 lead, you start shitting yourself because one of these games is going to go sideways in a big way and screw everyone over. if you guys have any other thoughts on the week, go ahead. If not, we can wrap it up.
No, I don't think so. Anybody else got anything on? Anybody watch any baseball? We're gonna try to just to give everybody a heads up. We're gonna try to have Tim Meza, one of the relievers, on for the Yankees here in the next couple days. We might do like a simulcast with the Ryan Ripken show. We're trying to plan that out with just timing and schedules and stuff like that. So giving you guys a heads up here first. And so we'll have that. And in a couple weeks, I think we're going to have for members only. We'll put it at the members only first. And we'll do it live with members only. And then we'll release it probably a couple weeks later, maybe a week or so later. We're going to have Gary Brackett on the show, all-pro linebacker from the Colts, back when the Colts felt like beating us every single year in the playoffs in the 2000s. So, yeah, that's all I got in terms of giving everybody a heads up on what's kind of going on. Oh, and then like 3 weeks from now, we're all going to be together for a live show from live from Canton, from the Chesapeake Wine Company. And yeah, I think that's all I got. That's all I can think of. Unless you guys
Hey, and Brooksy, when Gary Brack comes on, do we want to talk about like Colt stuff? Do we want to talk about his NFL? Like, what do we want to do here with Mr. Gary?
We'll definitely do mostly like his. We're probably gonna do like his history and tell some good stories. Super Bowl story. I've had him on my real estate show. We've crossed paths out here in the real estate world. So obviously has a lot of cool stories out here. Our cool stories from that Super Bowl. But we'll do that. And I mean, I do want to do just some current stuff from this year and maybe look forward the weeks ahead. What he thinks the Colts look like, football in general these days compared to, I mean, there's a ton of different ways we're going to go with this, but there should be a lot of cool stories out of him though. I've heard quite a few of them, but we'll try to get a couple uncensored ones out of them if we can.
Sounds good. It's all about having a conversation, having a good time. Yeah, Chesapeake Wine Company. We're going to do that in a couple of weeks when we have Mr. Sean Foy's wedding. I'm the flower girl, believe it or not. Flower girl. That's actually a real statement. I have a paisley suit that's currently getting tailored. So that'll be fun. But we're going to do it from the Chesapeake Wine Company. Miss Kim Bosley just bought it, and we're going to do it from her little lounge, and we're going to set it up.
At the Canton Can Company, right?
Canton Can Company, yeah. She just bought it down there. She bought it from two lovely young ladies who sold it to get out of the business. They retired. Miss Kim Bosley did it. It's a great business. It's a very relaxing place where the bartender also makes your food, but you can buy booze. You can buy trinkets. Got a lot of good stuff in there. You can bring your dogs as well, which is even more fun. Anything pet friendly is very, very sought after nowadays. I also want to thank Chuck for coming on, man. That was awesome. Thank you for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. Like I said, it's been a while since I've seen all of you guys together, so it was great catching up. We'll do it again.
Yeah, we'll have to have you on for Steeler Week too, for Ravens.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, the second half of the season is going to be brutal. That schedule, and then you got Hard Knocks doing the AFC North, which will be wild to see. I mean, When does that start? Is it already started? No, I think it starts the second half of the season, right? I mean, that's the only explanation why you have the Steelers playing 6 divisional games in their last 8, and then the only other 2 teams they play are the Chiefs and the Eagles. I think you guys talked about it before, like a 10-game stretch with the Ravens. The Steelers have, for Christmas, within 10 days, they play at Philly, at Baltimore, at home on Christmas Day against the Chiefs. It's like probably the most brutal schedule.
Yeah.
Ever. That 10-day stretch. It's like go down to Baltimore and have a slugfest, and then Patrick Mahomes is going to come into your house 4 days later on Christmas and throw it around.
Yeah, I mean, it's us. It's the Ravens, Steelers, and I think there's 2 other teams in the league that have like a crazy 2-week stretch, and I can't remember who it is. It might be Arizona.
We play 3 games in 10 days.
Yeah, that's what the Steelers have.
Steelers do too.
Steelers same way. So they play Baltimore on that Saturday night, thinking that'll give them, a little help on the short week. But it's Christmas Day at noon, 1:00 against the Chiefs, and it's just like, I don't know.
I mean, can you imagine getting hit in the fucking dick with a baseball bat and then having to play another game. Like, are you kidding me?
It's wild.
Oh,
So
man.
Speaking
Yeah.
of like the slugfest between the Ravens and Steelers, this is something that I was listening to before we came on. There's some crazy record from teams who played the Lions. Their week after record is so bad because everybody is so fucking beat up.
Oh,
for those
really?
games. Yeah. It's worth looking into, and I can't remember the actual line of it, but it struck me like it feels like if you
I've heard this.
go play the Lions, it's like a Ravens Steelers matchup.
They overtook the Niners. So the Niners, when they had like a stud defense back when like Jason Smith, like the big white guy in the middle, like they would beat the living hell out of people. And then the next game they would lose. Like whoever the team was, they would lose because they got their ass whipped.
Well, they had
Even if they beat the Niners, they would get their ass whipped the next
They
game.
had-
They were so beat up.
Jason Smith, Alden Smith, Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman. That's a sick defense.
Jesus.
And Dante Hittner behind all those guys. Remember him? Dante Whitner.
God.
Yeah. Well, this has been a great week. I don't think Shohei Ohtani's home run from last night landed yet. That ball was absolutely pissed on. I
Wow.
don't know if you guys saw that. That was fun to watch. That game was already out of hand by then, but Lindor also made a play at short last night that I couldn't believe. He's so good. But that's all the baseball I've really watched.
Yeah, again, we're hoping to have Tim on, one of the Yankees relievers, on tomorrow. Possibly doing a simulcast with the Ryan Ripken show again. Trying to figure out scheduling on that, so keep an eye out for that. If you're subscribed to the channel, you'll get to see that pop up on your phone, the notification if we're going live with that. So, and we'll obviously put something out on social media. So.
Yeah, we got a lot going on, but what I want to say is to all the people that have been watching, thank you very much. We really appreciate you. Yes, I am the Burt Kreischer twin, but I wanted to say a thank you to all the people that watch. We suck at this, but my favorite part of all this is I get to talk to my friends. I love them. Talk to people, have fun. It's good for your health. Chuck, thank you so much, my man. I mean, we all can't be perfect. I know you're a Steeler fan. It is what it is, dude. But I respect the living hell out of the Steelers. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, Brooks will tell you that was back in the day in college. We used to talk about it. Like, I might hate the Ravens, but I respect the hell out of them.
Yes. I mean, I don't like the Bengals. I respect the fucking Steelers.
Yeah,
Fun fact as well. Chuck and I play in the same fantasy league, and one of the main reasons why we were able to get Brad Brock on the show was because of Chuck and I playing against each other in the NEC earlier on in our baseball careers. So he played with Brett and Brad Brock. So appreciate you making that connection.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Monmouth great.
Brad Brock gave one of the best stories of all time on this podcast when we asked him about Joe Madden.
Yeah,
he said he had to go to lunch with, he had to go to dinner with Ringo Starr. Like, what?
What is Joe? What do we think Joe Madden's doing these days?
He's in an RV somewhere in Las Cruces, New Mexico, guaranteed.
I can see that.
What? I don't know. He's probably like the Grapefruit League's biggest fan or something. All right.
Oh, well.
All right. It is time for us to sign off. I hope you guys enjoyed the pod, and we will see you next Monday, or maybe even in a couple days with Timmy.
Ryan, do we have a Hall of Famer not coming up anytime soon?
I can get a Hall of Famer not for next week, buddy. I got no problem with that.
All right.
You want me to do baseball or football?
I don't care.
Let's do football. It's football season now.
Yeah, it's football season.
Football. Gotcha. Done.
All right. Thanks again to Chuck. Thanks again to everyone watching. Appreciate y'all, and have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys. Good.